All right, hey guys. So today I want to talk about an article that I came across on thehill.com, and it talks about Biden seeks to take on Trump over economy. Now, the reason that this grabbed my attention is because I feel like the one thing that Biden not needs to avoid, because he has to address the economy, but obviously his weakest leg to stand on, so to speak, is the economy. And Trump is obviously campaigning pretty hard on the state of the economy, despite the recent unemployment we had due to COVID. The economy is bouncing back, and quickly jobs are being created, and so yeah, it's going in a good direction for Trump. But I just want to go through this article to see what Biden actually thinks he can do here, because I want to preface this by saying that the Democrats, in my opinion, are the ones hurting the economy, and everybody else is trying to get the economy back to where it needs to be. And there's kind of what's happening is we want to open everything back up, and the left want to keep everything closed down to keep the economy bad. And then the excuse they use is, oh, COVID, COVID cases. But again, that wasn't a problem when everyone was protesting and burning stuff down, and it was creating divisiveness, which is good for the Democrats. So as you can see, they kind of pick and choose when, they do certain things or when certain things apply. But anyway, let's go ahead and start the article. Joe Biden is taking aim at President Trump on the economy, hoping to undercut Trump's strongest argument in his re-election bid. With COVID-19 wreaking havoc on the economy and unemployment at its highest level in years, Team Biden believes it can go on offense on the issue, which had long been a strength for Trump. Polls continue to show that a majority approve of Trump's handling of the economy, but Democrats see a vulnerability. He's hitting Trump right at the core, said one Biden ally who speaks to the campaign regularly. Biden, the presumptive Democratic nominee for president, leads Trump in many polls across various policy areas, including healthcare and handling of the pandemic. But a CNBC All Economics survey out last month showed voters still prefer Trump when it came to the economy. Now, I want to stop and talk about the polls for 1 second, because for some reason, it's funny that they will say Trump is all about polls when they favor him, yet they are kind of the same way. And the interesting thing is the polls failed them terribly in 2016 when Trump was elected president. And so the fact that they still put so much effort and emphasis on polls goes to show and goes to show that how they're making the same mistake. And that's why they call us the silent majority, because the fact of the matter is, if you poll certain people to get the outcome in the poll that you desire, is not a realistic representation of the American people. And you can't then accurately predict what's going to happen during the election. So it's kind of, you hurt yourself by not actually polling correctly. And if you look at the demographics of a lot of these polls, you would see what I'm talking about. But anyway, let's continue. The poll showed Trump leading Biden 44% to 38% on which of the two men has the best economic policies. For that reason, Democrats say it's critical for Biden to hone in on the issue. The economy is the one issue where voters give Trump the benefit of the doubt. So it makes sense that Biden will focus on Trump's economic record and economic politics, which upon review have not served the interest of working and middle-class Americans, said Democratic strategist Joel Payne. If Biden can soften Trump up, vice the economy, sorry, I've never seen that before, the bottom could really fall out from under the president and his down ballot allies. This I don't understand. When they make such bold claims, Trump's economic record and economic politics, which upon review have not served the interests of working and middle-class Americans, what review? And how is it not serving the interest? Last I checked, Trump has done more for the middle class and the working class He's created more jobs. He's helped with taxes for the middle class. Yeah, the wealthy got some tax breaks too, but this idea that when have the Democrats literally ever done anything for the middle class? Never. I mean, never. But the interesting thing is when these kind of statements are made, typically speaking, by the Democrats, they're not challenged. Even if this was a conservative saying this exact same thing about Biden, I would I would like to know what specifically you're referring to. I'm not just going to assume you're right because you're supporting the candidate that I support, but I would like the actual information, the facts. And here you're just stating something which I think in the eyes of real America, people would disagree with you on. Just straight up disagree. On Tuesday, in an appearance in his hometown in Wilmington, Delaware, that's where my mom is from, Biden will discuss his plans to build a clean energy economy. A campaign aide said the former vice president will talk in that context about job creation. It's just so funny. How are you going to? This is the problem I have with this approach. You're going to try to campaign on things that people feel Trump is doing very well, when you haven't done these things very well. You have to wonder how that's going to be accepted, right? Because everyone who either voted for Trump or is actually paying attention to what Trump is doing is going to know that everything that he's talking about here, job creation, job retention, middle class, families, Trump, now the Democrats can try not to cover it, but there's plenty of coverage of Trump doing these things, meeting with people, meeting with minority communities, HBCUs, the whole Goya thing with the Goya CEO was because Trump, he had, I guess, invited them to the White House and we're doing some stuff. But the fact of the matter is, Trump is actively doing these things. It's not like he's just completely ignoring it. And you guys are trying to paint the image that, hey, the Democrats the Republicans and President Trump aren't doing anything for the middle class. Well, that's just not the reality that many of us are facing out there. I know me personally noticed some changes on my taxes due to some of Trump's policy. Now, it wasn't it wasn't a lot or anything like that, but just the fact that there was a difference in the fact that something is attempting to be done, right? So where were we? In the coming weeks, campaign officials say Biden will roll out 2 other initiatives as part of his populist plan aimed at keeping jobs at home. Biden will propose plans on making childcare more affordable, as well as proposals aimed at advancing racial equity across the nation, including closing the racial wealth gap and expanding affordable housing. Okay, so that's about as far as I'm going to read into this article. I will have it linked in the description below if you want to read through all of it. But this brings up a good point, because at least from what I've seen, the childcare thing is something that I wish I would see more about and hear more about, because I do think that is a legitimate problem, especially when you consider single parents who have to work and everything like that. They need childcare. Now, this being said, where of course they lose me, along with probably half of the United States population, is talking about advancing the racial equity across the nation. I don't think they're going to fully understand how bad this is hurting them until Trump beats them again in the election coming up. This is such a turnoff, and what they've done with this, what Black Lives Matter has done, race to me in politics is just a turnoff at this point. Including, closing the racial wealth gap. This is the thing. The wealth gap is going to take care of itself. If you had all of these people in slavery for X amount of time, they're not going to instantly recover and the gap is gone. The idea here is that they should do something about that wealth disparity because it was caused by the country at the time of slavery. And I get that. But how do you actually close the wealth gap without being unfair to someone? How do you do that? Or is your plan to just give a bunch of money to people? Again, how do you decide who gets what? And what about black slave owners, right? I think there's this idea that we can actually accomplish this is just that, it's an idea. And of course, they don't plan on doing anything. And this is what's so frustrating about people who continue to vote Democratic. They are not going to do a thing. They've proven this time and time again. They're going to feed you all of this crap. And then when it comes time for them to uphold what they said they were going to do as far as their campaign promises, it never happens. But we keep voting for them, or you keep voting for them. And I don't understand it. And, you know, Biden talks about being laser focused on the middle class. He can't even get through, you know, an online campaign video. I mean, I just don't see this being a good thing for America. Biden is just not going to be a good thing. And then you have all these issues coming with the debate coming up and how they want, you know, don't debate Trump unless he releases his tax tax information and all of this. This article really shows me, and if you read further down into the article, it goes on to talk about how Biden is authentic about, you know, the working class and at the same time discrediting Donald Trump. And it just shows you how disconnected from reality the media really is. It's almost as if they don't even exist in the real world. That's literally what I feel like when I read some of this stuff. And I'm like, what world are they walking out into? It's like, do you just sit in some skyscraper somewhere writing these stories and never understanding what is going on in the world? But anyway, this is going to be a big fail for Biden. And I can tell you why. Because if a debate does happen, okay, and at this point, I'm hoping that it still does, like an actual on-stage debate. How does Biden, how does he take on Trump when it comes to the economy? Because think about this. The Democrats, they think everyone is stupid. They think that Trump is not going to know how to navigate this argument of the economy. And see, Trump is going to be able to write off most of the bad economical, basically everything negative with the economy. He's going to be able to write that off as COVID, while then being able to benefit from it because he could turn right around and say, well, and right after that, in 1 month, we gained back this amount of jobs. And of course, he could reference the point before the stock market. This idea that people are just going to stop and take a snapshot of where we're at and not think about any of what he's done these 4 years. Like, we're just going to take a snapshot and all we care about is right now. If that's what you think that people are going to do, you're mistaken. And if you're basing making the economic argument on only what is currently happening, that is an argument that is going to fail. But anyway, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Is Trump, do you think Trump's economy is a good economy? I personally do. I personally think that the Democrats are trying to ruin it with COVID. I think if COVID had not happened, Donald Trump would have gone down as one of the most successful presidents as far as the economy is concerned. And he will go down as one of the most successful presidents for me, because I've never seen a president have to deal with what he had to deal with. And it's just like they can't knock him down. Every shot they take at him, he bounces back. And hey, that's what I like about our president. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe. Let's keep sharing the channel. Doing really good there. All right, signing out. Take care.